from our new headquarters.
All right. It is Thursday.
Yes.
July 14th.
That's why you got 800,000 on the condos over there, right?
Number one show in the world for barber cop. Did I say cop? Barbershop.
Appreciate you.
Barbershop conversations. During the conversation.
What's happening?
Nothing. We're trying to talk at the same. I can't do it. No, you're okay. I'm just not good at it. All right. So to my right, Music Monk. To my far left, Brother Rashid Muhammad.
What's up?
And special guest, I am Geneve. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's good to have you here. It's good to have you here.
Good to be here. It's good to be here.
So,
There's
kicking
no
the can.
conversation about certification.
Huh?
Nothing.
No, I understand what you said. Okay. So, right. There was at one point in time there was a J certified on the show. So now we have a J non-certified.
Not certified the way the other J is certified.
Are you kidding me? That is such a backhanded.
That's what
Actually, it wasn't a compliment at all. It just was.
I don't know what to say.
Jay, she's nobody, but she's here.
No.
Thanks for having me, guys.
There is a J that felt like she needed to say that she was certified.
Oh, like
that
a
was
check
a part
on
of her
Instagram.
identity, and there's a J that does not feel like she has to put herself out there as being certified.
That she feels
I don't,
like,
but if anybody wants to certify me, I'll take the check.
You are Beer and Conversation certified.
Oh,
that's right.
Hey,
yeah, we
got the bell. Yes, we got the bell.
Bill me. Bill me.
Yes.
We confer upon you honorary degrees today. Okay, a certification.
I have a question.
Let's go for it.
I don't know if I'm allowed to ask. Or,
This is a safe space. This is a completely safe space.
Music Monk. Is that a vape?
Yes, it is.
How old are you?
Yeah,
wow.
You know what? I appreciate that. I received that.
Oh my God, that's it. Give me the bell. I need.
No. See, you just got. See. This is why
seriously though. No. Seriously.
Motherfuckers getting real comfortable in here real quick.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
I've been here before. Nobody put any respect on the hat.
I invited you, so I know that. And
but no, I really want to go back to my initial question. Seriously, the vape thing.
Yes. Okay. So I am about accountability, and I have struggled with vaping for probably about 6 months, 8 months or so.
Okay.
It's highly addictive. You know what I'm saying? And you can do that shit anywhere.
It's new age cigarettes.
Of course.
Right.
With much less tar, much less just bad things going into your.
No, I just, you know what I'm saying, it was really more of a it was a coping mechanism.
Okay.
And as a human being, it's we have various ways, of coping. But like I said, this is every time like this is my 5th last vape.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It's one of those things. No, I get it.
Yeah.
But I always ask because it's so strange. Like, I really don't see that many people smoking cigarettes anymore. But I do see a lot of, younger kids with the vape. And now you see the warnings. Pretty much how it was when we were growing up with the cigarette stuff. We didn't have warnings when we were growing up. But as you get older,
Right.
So I wonder, as an adult, when did you decide to pick up a vape? You were today, I want to just try it, and you liked it, and it stayed?
No, I mean, I'm not really sure how. That's a very, very specific and very detailed question.
Borderline intimate.
It really is. You know what I mean? Because.
Well, I didn't mean to get that.
Well, because when I said that I was suffering from anxiety.
Oh, I didn't hear it for the anxiety
because you're not listening.
I didn't. Yeah. I was hearing, not listening.
Exactly.
No, because I really, if I were to smoke something,
right,
like weed, usually remember started smoking around this time. But I get it for the anxiety thing, 'cause that's the same thing that it takes off the edge. So I respect it. I understand.
Respectfully raise my anxiety because you hit me with a personal question.
I ask it.
And then you didn't listen. Hold on, listen to me now. You didn't listen to my answer.
I apologize.
when men say that women don't listen,
I'm a prime
this is a prime example.
Here I am.
Whoa.
This is a prime example.
Should she be stoned?
She should not be stoned, but I have to take a TV time out
I'll take the accountability.
and point it out because I was completely
You
transparent,
want to rub my money, it's okay.
and it was almost like, you know, I'm not even talking.
We're going off into the Rocky Gorge right now.
I will say that I do not feel like it was not your listening. I do apologize. I take full accountability because I didn't hear the anxiety. I thought you just said that it was a coping mechanism. They use that as a coping mechanism, but I didn't hear the anxiety part. So I apologize.
But that's my whole point. You asked me something that was outside of the bounds, in a sense, and I'm giving you an answer, and you're not listening with the intent. So you can't ask me such a detailed question and then fade off.
You're right.
So let's keep the show going.
Yeah,
I appreciate you.
In the interest of time,
Right.
maybe we can
Yeah,
just come back.
we'll come back to
the show.
Honestly, did not. I will say, full disclosure, did not realize it was such a personal question. I just thought it was like a weed smoking situation.
No.
But I didn't know.
Okay.
But now I know.
Yeah, and knowing is half the battle.
Understanding's the other.
I was waiting on that. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get into a sign of the times, really breaking down this whole idea of a lot of these impulsive, what appear to be senseless killings, whether it's just one-on-one killing or massive shootings or robberies, that 211s that start out as 187s. Right before we do that, I do want to clarify something on a post. You know, I typically try not to post something unless it's factually true. It doesn't mean that I don't have my opinion about what I read, right? And so when I made a statement trying to be of help and not to be condescending, because I have been called condescending, and I don't think that that's fair. That we're demonized for being expressive at times. But when I said what I said about the statement about women, because I got a lot of blowback from that, about quote unquote friends. You have to say quote unquote friends, right? What that really means to men, because men don't loan their I mean, what are we talking about? $100, $200? Okay, yeah. But there are just certain amounts of money that men, and I mean, when you'd have to be elementary school friends, and you'd have to know that this person like just is going through something horrendous, like a bankruptcy or a divorce, and they lost all their stuff, and then, but the quote unquote friends, there are just certain amounts of money that now you're just kind of playing with people. You know what I mean? And so I was trying to help women out by saying, listen, men have far figured out what's going on with that, okay? And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because sometimes the text has no cadence or clarity to it. So I would rather it be said out. It wasn't coming in a condescending manner. And additionally, there are ways to get what both parties want. And I mean, and especially in times as we get into some of these shootings that have happened recently. And it is kind of dangerous out there. So, I mean, I understand, look, you know, you got to court somebody. I get it. However, we're in a recession. A lot of people are going to need help. And typically, a lot of women will probably need more help, not because they're not capable, but because a lot of what a lot of women do, with the exception of doctors and nurses, are in more of a service industry. And typically, when things slow down the economy, consumption and service industries tend to slow down. You know, and so I'm just saying that to say, to help you out, one good way to be is be transparent. And the reason why I'm helping you with this is because this is a good tip. Because people will work with you if you're transparent. But I think that sometimes there's a shame associated with being transparent. But what you have to understand, now I'm speaking for men. Men do not go after women for what they have financially, because they know that they probably will never even get to see it. So there's never, that's not going to scare a man away. That's more psychological projection. Whereas women perceive the way that they would handle a man if the man said to them that they didn't have any money. So, but men are not like that. They're not looking for anything financial from a woman per se. They just don't want to be used. Now, if y'all want to say something about it, fine. If not, I'll move right into the show.
I don't even know what.
Well, you didn't see the post.
I didn't see the post. And maybe if we started out with the context of the post, I might not be like swimming in the deep end.
I basically said that men don't want to be asked for money under the guise of being friends, and they turn around and sleep with another man.
Okay, all right. So, okay.
I mean, did I?
God.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
yeah.
Because not only are you not my friend, but you're not getting money from the person you're sleeping with.
I think it was the build up to that point.
Like
it was the build up.
like the professions that women have and how most women are in the service industry.
Yeah.
Which is
in Atlanta, there's a lot of women in the service industry, but you just said besides doctors and nurses, most women are in the service industry. Women do a lot of other things than just the service industry and nurses.
Okay, I'm sorry I lost you.
Doctors.
But nurses and doctors, women have a lot of other.
The profession itself has an inelastic demand.
That's the only thing I'll say on behalf of the women. We also are doing other things besides serving tables and shaking ass and being nurses and doctors. I mean, it's all service industry.
I mean,
bartenders. Bartenders.
But don't bars slow down around these times?
So it depends on the nature of the recession. For example, in 2008, that was a male recession because you lost a lot of jobs in construction. You lost a lot of jobs.
Right. And GM lost a lot of jobs.
Yeah. Right.
And
automobiles, that sort of stuff. Whereas the COVID recession, which that recession was only like a month, it was the shortest recession in history.
But it
that was more of a service. That was a service industry.
They tried to shut down the world for like 2 years.
That is a thing that is worth unpacking. But as far as the actual definition of recession goes, the recession was fairly short-lived. But it was definitely a service industry recession.
It was definitely a service industry recession, but just women do have other jobs. That was the only.
I'm sorry that I didn't think properly about that.
And then also being in Atlanta, it's very easy because we have so much entertainment. Everything is entertainment, right? So it's easy to think that it's like that everywhere. You know what I mean? But it's like LA, New York, Miami, right? Probably would be the most. But there's still a diverse group of men that are washing the dishes. You know what I'm saying? And cooks and you know what I mean. So they take a hit too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and ain't nobody really checking. Don't nobody borrow money from them neither. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean,
but if he ain't got
so
it,
what you're really saying is if you loaning money, there's an ass expectation that comes along with it.
Is it ass?
100%. That's what you've already said. You've already said that multiple times.
You
said that multiple times.
I'm just trying to make sure that the point is getting out there so that it can't be like misheard.
It's not because that's prostitution, and I don't want to get into a music. GJ Agony did a music show. I don't want to get into a set it off situation where somebody's just enduring so that they can get a bill paid. No, man, no. That's not. I wasn't even thinking along those lines.
So if it's not that, what is the difference between that and what you're actually saying?
Well, what I'm saying is this: very simple and plain. Is that you can't. I think that there is this idea, and I think when men do it, it's bad too, but I think men always lose at it when they try to build a woman out of 4 women. But women will build a man out of 4 different men. This man compliments me all the time. This man pays the bills. I get sex from this man.
But how is that building one man?
I'm not saying, I didn't come up with it. I'm just saying that this is what I hear in passing in the streets for the last X amount of years that, you got to piece them together. You know what I mean? And so the finance guy, come on, y'all be fair with me. The worst fear is that you shelling out money to help somebody and they sleeping with somebody else who can't help.
So check this out.
Do you feel like that?
So okay. Now hold on. Hold on.
He didn't even answer yet.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Now you're not listening. I wasn't. Now you're not. So quiet, please.
My apologies, y'all. You know what I'm saying? My apologies. But okay, so seriously, it's we all exhibit the same behavior. It's all the same shit, to be honest, at the end of the day.
As far as men, you're saying, or everyone?
As far as everyone's behavior.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't.
Is it a winning formula though?
It's not. I don't. It's not even. You got okay. So when you're talking about a piecemeal, you know what I'm saying? I've heard guys say, you know, like I've heard guys say the same thing. That like what we're experiencing is the demise of the relationship and the rise of the situationship, and those are the four like that's a pillar of the situationship.
I'd like to come back to that. I'm
piecemealing people together.
Because if you can find a woman that'll give you money,
Can you repeat that? The demise of the relationship.
Of the relationship or the fall.
No, demise. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, fall, demise, whatever, you know, and the rise of
the rise of the what though?
The situationship.
Oh, situationship.
I didn't even know.
I didn't hear that.
Like situationships. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Agreed 1,000%.
So I mean that would
definitely agree.
We got to come back to it because I want to get.
We should definitely come back to that.
We got to come back
because that's a topic.
Because if there are women out
good.
here,
I like that.
I'm in the wrong place. If there are women out here that I could just. You like me, so you'll give me money, and you'll know that that's what. Man, listen, that's great. I think that's a wonderful idea. If you can find them, you can sign.
You're dragging it.
All right. Okay, so recently there was a guy killed. Hey, you know what? Before I go any further, can I get that clip real quick that summarizes what? Yeah, just let me know when we're ready, and then I'll get into it.
Women be out here creating super niggas in their mind. They don't even be looking at the niggas right in front of them. That's the difference between men and women. We see who here.
Right.
Women out here think it's a unicorn nigga with a long dick and a lot of money in a weekend house, and this nigga write poetry and draw and he a thug and he can fight and lift weights and don't eat pork. You crazy? You gonna meet this nigga with a lace front on? Okay, alright, I'm tripping though.
What he say, man?
Man, that nigga, they want that nigga to have everything.
Yeah, so I thought that was funny. I follow a lot of different podcasters, but okay. So nonetheless, getting to the nitty gritty, a couple things happened recently in Atlanta, and Jay can shed some light on some other issues, but there was an individual who shot two ladies at Subway. Actually, right where I used to live in Castleberry. Yes, sir, the Subway.
No, I know. I walked there when all the TV cameras were, but I thought it was.
Yeah, the gas.
He shot the.
I didn't know
A
it was the one that it was at.
Yeah,
a
right by
dude shot the woman who made him the sandwich.
Put too much mayonnaise on. He shot
Right.
two of them.
And then the manager shot him. Was my understanding.
I heard
That was what I last heard.
I
mean,
didn't
who
hear
knows,
the
who
manager
knows?
shot him.
I
heard the
He shot
manager
two
shot.
women.
I heard that in the hood.
Well,
So I could be wrong, but
I
yes.
didn't hear that story, but I did
Definitely
hear,
someone got shot for making a bad sandwich in Castleberry Hill in Atlanta. That's where we are.
1,000%. That is definitely that happened.
It sounds like 3 people done got shot because I don't know. I didn't know the location of where because the 2 women were related. I think they were mother and daughter or something.
I
like
heard
that.
they were mother and daughter.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know if that's
and
correct.
I want to say that the baby might have been there. I might
Their
be.
baby?
The daughter had a baby, so I'm not sure if, or I'm not sure. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm pulling, maybe it's the Mandela effect, but I do know that the 2 women were related and the guy got mad about something and shot
How
her.
shameful is that for you to talk about, man?
Well, it does say shot 2 Subway employees, so.
Yeah, one dead, another in hospital.
Yeah.
Over too much mayo.
Yeah, so, and we had discussions about
26
that.
and 24 years old.
That's crazy.
And the man
because
was
the
a
2 men
36-year-old man that
Yeah.
shot them.
Too damn old for that bullshit.
I mean,
But of course,
about
10 years old
mayonnaise,
is too old for
but
that
the
shit.
question was, as we get into the discussion there, and then you've got Candler Road.
But also and he was correct, the 5-year-old son was inside where the mother got killed. Yeah.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
Like, so that means the
Yeah.
kid was there with their mother while
At work.
working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which in
Now,
itself
that's
is
another.
indicative.
That's a whole nother
That's
issue,
an interesting
right.
angle too,
Again.
just by itself.
I
Yes.
wasn't sure because this happened about two weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that.
Yeah. So I there was a little bit of
And it kind of makes it does. It's not that it makes sense all the way, but you can see how it.
Damn.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
want to put this
You
in
can,
here.
you can see how it can kind of come together. I mean, obviously, if you work in the subway, you probably don't have money for childcare anyway. You know, yeah, I can. Well, we'll get into that another time too. However, again, I don't want to do it. Okay, so
Say it.
no, I'm to your point. People are better off working as a team, but we ain't gonna figure that out, man. Everybody, all right. So, anyway, because I don't, we have a woman on the show. I'm gonna be on my best behavior.
So she's not the token.
No, please just be who you are.
No.
Lyrics, I know you. I know you well. I expect nothing but lyrics.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Okay. So we'll get to that too, but.
I know we
You weren't
will.
expecting nothing but Larry's. That's a
No,
segment tonight.
for me to be me, but
Yeah.
so you got that Candler Road. Two couples get into it at the gas station. They're fighting. It's a domestic dispute.
So it's a
So it's 4
2-on-2
people?
situation.
It's 4 people.
No.
Okay,
Two
two
couples.
people, one couple. I'm sorry.
A couple gets
A
hurt. Okay.
couple.
All right.
Couple, two
All
couple.
right.
Which is kind of redundant in itself, right? Because a couple does mean 2 people, but
A couple was fighting.
and right there, yeah, right there off
That
Candler
was
Road.
Good job.
And a bystander gets involved. This is just yesterday or the day before. And he comes over to get involved. The guy shoots him.
Yeah.
He's dead. And then from there, she ends up leaving with him in the car. I don't know if it was with her on her own will or
Of course.
against her
What?
will.
Okay,
All right.
so
It's domestic violence. Of course that happens.
so there's a couple.
Arguing in a
There's
car.
an interlocutor. There's a
And
person
they're
who
physically fighting.
intervenes.
Yeah.
The person who intervenes gets shot, and then the
Yes.
couple leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. So, you
All
got,
right, and there's a number of other instances Jay will bring them up at some point. However, what I wanted to illustrate is a lot of things have been happening. People can classify, oh, it's mental illness. It's got to be mental illness, right? Some things are just rage and a sign of the times due to the financial impact on people's ability to live life. To
But not
achieve
just
life.
financial.
Right, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yes.
In general, and everybody is just walking around mad as hell.
But I think it's only fair to disclose the other few examples and not just the domestic
Go ahead,
violence.
yeah.
Just so that it's like an umbrella, you know? Because we were also talking about the 70-some-year-old man that got beat to death by the kids, the group of kids in New
With
York.
the cones.
With the
Yeah.
cones. And that
Yeah.
was a group of kids in New York.
Yeah.
And then also in Ohio, and the O'Reillys, the customer got into an argument with the store clerk, and the customer fought the store clerk, and then she came around with a gun and shot her.
who shot who?
The store clerk got beat up by the customer. Then she went behind the counter, grabbed her gun, the clerk grabbed the gun, and then shot the customer.
Yeah, she's about to do 15.
And she
She's
got
about to do
arrested.
15.
Well, she was trying to say that it was, what would it be? Defense. She was trying to say it was
Nope.
self-defense.
Yeah. Nope,
But
that's
no,
not
she turned
self-defense.
on the corner. And I mean, the whole
gotta
thing
do
is on a
15 years.
camera. Like, they're really
Okay.
arguing and then same
Yeah.
thing. But all those
So she
situations
came
as a
behind
whole.
and
Well, and then there was a.
Yes.
The
yes.
There was
store clerk is
a-
going to jail.
No, the customer
So-
hit her like over the hit her over the counter, and then she kind of went around and grabbed her, and she was
So
beating
she
her
went to go
up.
give her some more.
But then after she got beat up, then the girl got up and went and got the gun and then shot her.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
So, but
I
there's
don't know if she's gonna
there was
get-
a.
Well, she did get arrested.
There's another situation in New York where this black woman goes into this bodega or whatever, and her EBT card gets declined to like buy her kids some like chips. And according to her, the mother, the clerk took the chips from her daughter, which I mean, one could argue that that was not an illegitimate thing to do since she can pay for the chips, but whatever.
Right.
The mother told her boyfriend or her husband, I don't know, probably boyfriend, who came in, went behind the counter, fought the 70 plus. This dude's probably like in his 20s, 30s at the oldest. He fights this dude in his 70s behind the counter. The dude in his 70s pulls out a knife and just stabs him and kills him. And the dude behind the counter gets arrested.
No.
Yes, and it's a big thing in New York right now, where like They're saying that the DA is over prosecuting, and there's a whole racial thing. Like the dude is the assailant is black. The dude behind the counter is Hispanic. He's like a Dominican immigrant or whatever.
Yeah.
Huh?
What's the difference?
There is
There is a totem of grievance. There's a
Between
totem
black
of
and
grievance.
Dominican?
there's
In New York, there's a huge difference.
there's a
I'm from
difference.
New York. First of all, there's a huge difference between any kind of Spanish, Colombian, Cuban, Dominican, Puerto Rican. Like that is very
why does there gotta be a
racist. You
racial
can't say that.
Why does it have to be a racial component when it's two minorities?
No, because they're not. It's New York.
Yeah, like,
That's way different. I think you have to think about where you are. Like in New York, your community is very strong alone. Like we have Little Italy, it's all Italians. We have like Chinatown, it's all Chinese people. Like the Jewish community, it's literally everybody has their
That's
own
why
thing.
it's a foreign concept.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, those things tend to
We
happen
know,
up
'cause we
north
went
more
to
than they
Camden.
happen down south.
You went to the north.
What's
What's the difference in Camden?
So,
You see?
I don't fit in there.
so we're saying that these, these occurrences, like
Yeah.
they're illustrating what?
Mental illness, or as a different underlying issue.
Impulse rage.
Because not everything is mental illness. Everybody has their own mental illnesses that they deal with and that they fight and that they, get under control or don't. But as a whole, is this somebody who has schizophrenia, or they are like literally like by the book, they need to take medicine in order to be okay in society? Or like those children, what is the reason for those children killing that man, that 70-year-old man? All of them are mentally ill?
No. So, what you got? You was about to say something?
I was just saying, she asked what was the reason. I just said not a good one.
Not a good
Go
reason,
ahead.
right? What is the reason?
So, it's it may not be mental illness, but it may be a psychosis of sorts, right?
I could agree with that.
So if you're treated a certain way, or you're witnessing things chronically, generation after generation, it's just and on top of that, you have such ease of access to this technology. You're seeing all of these things. You're so numb to violence anyway.
You desensitized.
You're desensitized. So maybe the kids was, and I mean, is it fair to, can I even call them kids? They just killed a 70. I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
Kids can kill.
I mean, kids
Kids have been killing forever, but also
the way it sounds, it just sounds more innocent. Like,
how
kids,
old
like,
were the
no.
kids?
Let's just say they were teenagers.
people.
I thought they were like
old enough to know
mid-teens.
not to
I
kill
don't know
an
exactly.
elderly man
I
or
feel
kill
like-
anything.
I think
for that
anybody.
matter. Yeah, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
like it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like in the grand scheme. But a lot of people like having these knee-jerk reactions about things just simply because they're walking around on edge about everything, literally about everything. And it's always been this tension in the world, but now it's palpable after, especially 2 years removed from COVID.
The crazy
So-
part of go ahead, sorry.
You got it.
No, I was just gonna say I tried to look up how old the children were, and I can't even see it because there's so many other 11-year-old girl killed by one teen, 14-year-old boy in Manhattan stabbed by another teen. Like it's
Right, it's being
literally
crowded out by
7 or
other
8
things,
other
yeah.
things in this week alone. It'd be all of them are before 3 days. Like that's crazy.
So now it's not even a gun thing now. It's
Yeah,
a gun thing,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not solely a gun thing.
They killed him with a cone.
It's just like finding anything, finding any instrument to inflict pain for, and really for humor.
Yeah, that's
Well,
They're doing this shit for entertainment. But go ahead.
Well, and that's why when we were talking about the whole gun thing, where my position has always been, for as many years that we've been doing this show, my position has been consistent, which is that the problem is not the weapon used. The problem is that people will violate the social contract so wantonly and inflict pain and death upon other human beings. Like, that sensibility is the problem. And it doesn't matter. Well, again, I mean, maybe if they had a gun, they would have killed 2 old people or 5 old people. I don't know. I mean, there was
Or
only
one
one they
of-
were
or
fucking with.
each other.
Yeah, I'm just
Or
saying. I
somebody,
mean,
you know
so
what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said about like the degree of damage that's inflicted,
It
but
was
the
inflicted.
core problem, if this thing continues to spread like it feels like it's spreading, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter if like one incident is one person instead of 5 people, because there are going to be 5 more incidents. And that's the fundamental issue.
Could you remember that? And can I invite you down to the next meeting and you say that?
I mean, I've been saying it for as long as you know.
It sounds different coming out of a brother's mouth.
Yeah.
Than a GOP leader.
No, I mean, I don't know how many bet I want to go to GOP, but I'm not scared to talk to Republicans. We can talk. We'll talk about it.
Okay. Yeah. So no, I mean, I definitely think that, to your point, it is there's a huge desensitivity to violence, and I also think at the same time that a lot of it, you rarely, how often does anybody, just speaking for myself, of course, if you're in a position where you can enjoy your life and maybe have a cocktail, if you want to smoke a blunt, have a little woman around, how often are you out
looking to kill somebody?
Not very often.
Yeah. I agree.
I'm really about some peace and love shit, like for real.
You're speaking
but what if
in
you
part.
Can't get it?
You can't get peace and love because you have to be peace and love. Like I know that sounds. No. You gotta be for you. It's an internal thing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are empty vessels, walking around. Over sexing, over drinking, over numbing themselves, and at a certain point, the silence can get so loud to where like it'll almost it'll come to like this boiling point, this critical mass. For sure. You know what I mean? And you know that you all know. So let's really think about this right here now. Seriously, let's think about how trivial these things have been about. Like the 3 young ladies who tore up the Bell Fry.
That was
over $1.75 sauce, right? Yeah. Like it's always something that is like
very minuscule.
So that lets you know the hairpin trigger that most people are walking, like most people who don't have anything to lose. This is something that we always talk about. People that have something to lose, by and large, are not out here acting like this.
That's really what I was alluding to.
Sometimes the rage does get a hold of people and they act out of character. But I'm not going to ask y'all personally, because I already did too much personal shit and I've been here 5 minutes. But if you are raised, if you are raised with like an abundant source of love, when you are raised in a family that you feel love, and we all go through our different trials and tribulations through life. Absolutely. I'm not saying that you had a fucking rainbow and Skittle goddamn growing up. But if you know somebody, at least one person, showed you unconditional love, no matter what. They spoke life into you. They wanted to make sure that you were good. You ate, you're clothed, you bathed. Those kind of things. When people really care about you, I think that it gives you a sense of pride when you go outside and you're able to be more present with other people. Like you understand that it's not appropriate to murder a 73-year-old man. Like that's something that you don't think of doing because you go home to a house where you are shown love. Unfortunately, the majority of people at this point are not shown that.
So I'm going to agree and disagree with you.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, because...
But mental illness, it does play a part in that, too. So even if you have all those things and you are mentally ill, I'm not talking about that.
I'm not talking about mental. Okay. So there's this construct. And if you've been through any part of college, you've probably seen it, which is called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Do we know Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
I slept through a lot of that.
All right.
I'm very familiar.
So Maslow's hierarchy of needs just talks about the things that are required in order for human beings to act right. All right.
Hold on.
So it's a 5-level pyramid of the things that are required for human beings to act right, and they all build on each other. So at the very bottom you have your physiological needs, which is food, water, warmth, and rest, which is like the basic shit, just to survive as a human being. All right. Then once you have that, it's your safety needs, like security. Your safety. Right. Then you get above that, you have belongingness and love needs, which are your intimate relationships and your friends. Above that, you have your esteem needs, so your prestige and your feelings of accomplishment. At the very top, you have what's called self-actualization, which is achievement of your full potential, including creative activities. So you have like your basic, your psychological, and your self-fulfillment needs. And so a lot of and again, that's all independent of like mental health. Right. Like you can be in perfectly good mental health, but if you can't have no place to sleep, shit's gonna be fucked up, you know, and you're gonna have a hard time like coping with reality.
I think we finally made it to the top. Self-actualization. What do you think? No?
It's a continuous walk.
I'm saying that now I'm looking for purpose, so that helps in terms of.
What's the one right under the top?
Yeah, I think you're talking under the top, which is the esteem. I think. Let's take a look here. It's esteem
It's definitely the book.
prestige and feelings of accomplishment.
Yeah.
So self-actualization is like you've actually like. It's one thing. Esteem is like ambition, like clear ambition. Actualization is like you've done it.
Yes.
Like, and I'm saying, like you've like
have 1 foot in one and 1 foot in
you can have
You
1
do,
foot in
but I
one
think
foot
you
there,
just
but
said
you.
both feet
But I don't
were-
know that. Yeah, both feet. You gotta have both feet to be.
You're like, hey, we made it to the top. But like,
You gotta actually have both feet.
My
Still on the
my
way.
scooper
Now,
can catch the
having-
sand from the top one from where I'm at on the other, but I get it.
So having said what I just said, I do believe I know a lot of motherfuckers who have like. I know motherfuckers that have been loved and cared for or whatever and still ain't shit. So there's that.
yes, but that also has to do with you as an individual. I think that sometimes people like, people have 5, 6 kids and 4, great, and then you got 2 that are just
it's kind of a thing. But that's the thing. So the question, so that makes it out to just be like a numbers game, right? It's like, for so many numbers of motherfuckers, you just gonna have some motherfuckers who don't know how to fucking act.
Yeah.
And so then the question is like, in a giant country like this,
Those
with
are the ones that we hear
340
about.
million exactly.
Yes,
Like when it bleeds, it
Yeah.
leads. So these are just some motherfuckers that make shit bleed. These people you hear about.
But the difference was there was a time when even if you had wild hairs or strange thoughts, you still obeyed the social contract. Like it was just,
Strange.
you know what I mean?
I mean,
I'm saying,
I know what
in
you're
the
saying.
sense of there was just people were just fearful of breaking the social contract, even if
The
they felt
status
like
quo.
they should, right? And so to
you're gonna turn me
to what
Joseph
Jay-
McCarthy in a second here.
Yeah, well, to what Jay was saying, and thank you, Rashid. By the way, I actually took that as a compliment, believe it or not.
What is a compliment?
You said, did you say I was gonna turn into Jason McCarthy?
No, I said that you're gonna turn me into Joseph McCarthy. But say what
Wild
you're
hair
saying.
and
It's fine.
strange thoughts.
Let's go.
ahead.
Let's go. Let's
So-
go. We'll
Somebody
get to
might
it.
get that shit tattooed. Or somebody had that
Everything
shit
no,
tattooed.
for sure.
somewhere.
That is.
So, but I believe this. I do believe that as somebody who has grown up in an unconditional love environment, and then I lost that. You know, when mom died
For
10
sure.
years ago,
Yeah.
it put me in a position where it made me vulnerable and more. I would probably, I don't want to say like less patient, but more anxious to get back in that sphere, because that sphere is what got me where I was. You know, when you have that. But here's the thing: Bob Proctor once said, "The learners will inherit the earth, while the learned are fully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists." All right, so if you're constantly learning, you're gonna win. But when we take these old school values that we were raised on, and you try to apply them to people, by and large, a society that doesn't see things the same way, the pure in heart, if you are a good person, you're gonna get wounded badly out here. You better adjust.
I disagree.
Discernment, man. When you start seeing people as energy and not as people, then you're able to navigate this stuff a lot better. You know what I mean? You can be like, oh, okay, this is familiar, because most people that you come across. Like I remember when I was working.
Do you know what a thespian is?
An actor. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So when I was working at Uptown, and I was running the front door, I used to see thousands of people every weekend. Now, let me not say every weekend, like over the course of like a summer or whatnot. And you started to just come across the same energies all over again. So whereas at first I was like, like I was actually like talking to people. After a while, I was like, oh, I could just really like engage with people based on what I was seeing, like almost like their aura in a sense. That's how good people keep from being burned. Not putting themselves, trying to always save everybody or fix everyone or whatever the case.
You know what? Good actors, a great actor.
How you gonna walk?
Hey, we don't
go ahead and talk.
We don't go off screen and then talk
Shots
back
fired.
on screen.
Shots fired, man.
I was just saying, great actors have learned this concept that is called imagined reality.
Okay, well,
I mean, it's
piggyback on what
it's
you
like a
said. I
cardinal
think
sin,
that when
though.
you get to the point where you are about protecting your own peace and you've mastered your own ability to have discernment, for real discernment, not just like, oh, you know, like listening to intuitions and actually reading energy. Like you said, I'm very much into the spiritual realm and the energies and, you know, all that. But when you are focused on that, it makes it much easier to allow people to have space to be who they are, and it does not affect you, because you realize that like whatever this person does, it has nothing to do with who you are. So as long as you're containing yourself, then you don't be killing people over mayonnaise at Subway.
That is a perfect segue, Jay. So as we're speaking on this, let me apologize for the start of the show. I don't know if I was really taken aback, but my response could have been a lot better. You have an amazing talent. I like the flow. I like what you have to offer. So I just want to extend my apologies for how I may or may not have handled, or how I could have handled the situation earlier better with my tone and my intent. May not have been my intent, but my tone could have definitely been better.
I received that, but also I should have been listening more because I really didn't hear you say anxiety. If I would have heard you say that, then I would have respected your boundaries more and I wouldn't have pushed as much. But I just really didn't hear that. And it wasn't just because I was listening to like respond. I was listening to respond, but that was a genuine question. I did not realize it was that personal, so I do apologize for that as well because I did not realize I was pushing an envelope. I wouldn't have done that if I would have known that.
Well received. That's what it's all about. We're gonna ring the bell. I'm trying to figure out.
Can I ring the bell?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
I want to ring it too. Thank you.
I'm not even sure. Have we even put a cap on you coming back?
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all do a final thought.
All right, man. Final thoughts, man. Hey, man. Just think. I know everybody's freaking out right now. It's a lot of stuff going on. You can only do what you can do. You know what I mean? So the best thing to do is work on your healing, work on your vibration. You know what I mean? Try to learn as much as you can. Stack up. Do your thing. Love your people, man. East Point smoke some dank.
Not Jay, not certified. I'm here.
That's right.
That was so
Hopefully for a while.
She's got a JHD.
I will take that. That's funny.
Instead of me doing my final words, I think it was a great show. We got to figure out that certain parts of it definitely got to be picked up. But let's let the man himself take us on out with this small video in a tribute to him.
Because these white folks see us as thugs. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care if you think you a lawyer, if you a man, if you an African American, if you whatever the fuck you think you are. We thugs and niggas to these motherfuckers. You know? And until we own some shit, I'ma call it like it is. How you gonna be a man and we starving? Go ahead. You know? And you can walk by 5 different houses, ain't a man in either one of them motherfuckers. How we gonna be a man? How we gonna be African Americans? And we out here dying. We thugs and we niggas until we set this shit right. Trust me when I tell you that shit.
Young black males out there identify with thug life, but I couldn't handle it. I could handle it, but not right away.